Guys, how's it going? Great. You look good. You look comfortable. I mean, we loved him coming out. I was coaching linebackers when he was coming out, but I remember Aubrey and Raheem, watching his tape, and they loved him in the SEC. A ton of ball production, and you see how smooth he is catching the ball. You see how comfortable he is out there, and we definitely got some of the best DB coaches when it comes to developing talent and developing those guys. So he's in great hands with Aubrey. So really excited to see him continuing to grow. Yeah, he's playing the quarterback position really well. It's not just ton of off-schedule stuff. He seems to calm down. He's finding his check down. He's getting the ball out of his hands. If you took away the off-schedule stuff, he's still playing at an elite level, just at QB. He's spreading the ball around. He's getting the ball out to Shakir in the flats, or he's got his one-on-one isolations outside. So I'd just say he's taking care of the ball, obviously, with his not very many turnovers, and he's playing just true quarterback. And then obviously he's still got all the stuff, when it comes to being Josh Allen. He's not many guys that can simulate Josh Allen. If you could have one of the defensive end or an outside backer play QB, maybe run around, but and obviously you're not going full tackle, so it's really you're going over your rules. When he does go off schedule, when he does break the pocket, things like that. Just like we do with the other quarterbacks. We're not tackling anybody, and obviously we know he's a different guy to tackle. When he starts to decides he wants to run. So we've kind of gone over the techniques. We'll work on that and simulate that in individual and stuff, and then in practice just try and work on our rules. Have Jimmy break the pocket a few times and work on our plaster rules. Just continuing to grow. He's very stout at the point of attack. He's very smart. Doesn't make the same mistake twice. You can talk to him like a veteran. He's really calm on the sidelines. Just a really guy that's kind of a pleasure to coach. He's a guy that stays late, understands every single detail of the game plan, and we trust him out there, and he's been doing an excellent job. Yeah, no doubt. Just how he does every week. He's very detailed in his preparation, very detailed in his alignments, and some of the things that happened versus Philly, was based on were very correctable, and some of the things that we could have put him in a better spot. So, just kind of understanding that and correcting the mistakes that you can control, and making the offense earn every single snap. Yeah, if you have a helmet on game day, we love to give you a role and kind of play every single person. And there was one week where that happened. I think it was the Seattle game. Every single guy pretty much played on defense and contributed, and we love that. We love those guys. And Des is a guy that we love. He's got juice. He can run, fly sideline to sideline. He's got really good pass rush ability, really good twitch, and and we like to keep guys fresh, and especially up front. And when we got guys like Des Juan, like a Nick Hampton, like a Jalen McCullough, guys that you can trust to give roles and be in the right spot and that are good players in their own right, it only makes you better. Yeah, we're just trying to be consistent with our preparation. I feel like we've settled into how we want to game plan opponents, and you always want to take your defense and your philosophy and be consistent with that, but also mold it to the opponent that you're playing. And I think we've settled into a rhythm here, the last 7 or 8 weeks where, we have a starting point in the game plan. We understand what the guys do well. We try to put them in the positions where they're doing what they do well, and put them in the best positions. And so that's the biggest starting point, is understanding their strengths and putting them in that position. Yeah, it's kind of similar to last week with Kamara. He's a home run hitter, loves to cut back in the stretch game, loves to bounce in on some of the inside runs. So, very tough tackle in space. And, if he gets any crease, he can hit a home run. He's been excellent. Greg Williams has done an excellent job with that room. We really challenge Christian. earlier in the season, and he stayed after practice and worked on exactly what we said, and he's done an excellent job. I think it's about 5-6 weeks now where he's played some really consistent football. He got over 100 tackles, which is pretty cool for him, and he's always been a really good sideline-to-sideline player, played visual on the QB, plays extremely hard, and now he's playing sound within the scheme of the defense. He's using his hands really well, hitting blocks, and he's just played really good football for these last whatever it is, 5 or 6 weeks. So really proud of him.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job right off the rip. Obviously we didn't come away with the production in terms of points, but I thought we were running the ball well throughout the first half. Didn't get any runs in that first drive, and the second and third drive we ran it well. We just didn't come away with the points, and that was the amount of drives we had in that first half. It's about as fast as of a half as I've ever been a part of. But they kept it going. They weren't discouraged. They just kept on pounding away. I thought it was a step in the right direction for that group for sure. Oh yeah. No, I mean it's infectious, it's contagious. I mean it's and it's real, it's natural, it's not fake, and so I think that's why he's probably not just a locker room favorite, but a fan favorite too, because you just like to see guys that enjoy what they're doing, and he enjoys it with an intent. He enjoys it with purpose, and I know as coaches you can feel it, but more importantly the players can feel it, and it's a good thing. We're always prepared for the noise in SoFi, so it is what it is. But yeah, I mean they travel well. The Mafia travels well, so we'll be prepared like we always are. Yeah, I mean that's it starts with the preparation in terms of just what we're putting together, making obviously the run and the marriage of the run and pass with the formations and some of the actions, stuff like that. Sometimes it's within the game, sometimes it's hey, this is what they're practicing, so we want to do this off of that, knowing that they're working something. So you want as much marriage as you can, but at the same time, hey, this is the runs that actually look good that we can execute. And then obviously same thing from a pass standpoint, but first and foremost, at least when we break the huddle, hey, is it run pass? You try to keep the defense off kilter, I guess you could say, right off the rip.
What is it about this character?
Kyron is like we were just saying, just his energy, that's 24/7 for him. This dude is so alert, so present at every moment. He loves this game. He loves learning in the classroom. He's an absolute awesome person. He's a really good football player, great competitor, but he's a better person off the field. He deserves, that nomination, that award for our team. As much as anyone I've been around. So you just root for guys like Kyron Williams. He wasn't a top draft pick. Obviously played at a big time college and had a great career there. But to see where he's at as a player is really cool. But as a person, everything he's gotten to this point, it's just the start. Whatever he wants to do in his life, the way he attacks it. Can't say enough good things about Kyron. What was his reaction? Or well, I mean, you see it. It's he every time he gets the ball, he wants to go score. So I mean, that's just how all those guys are. And again, it was a good step for us as a group. It takes all 11 in the run game. We got a lot of runs off, and they did a great job. Like every Bills front that I've had to go against, it feels like every year for the last however many years, except for last year. So they just play hard. They're so structured. They're so disciplined. They have a system there, and they've had a system there dating back to when Sean was in Carolina, brought it to Buffalo. They've always, it felt like, been a top 5 defense. I bet you if you fact check me right there, it's probably accurate too. It's just they know what they're doing, and they do it well. They play together as a team. So it's another great challenge for us. It's what you play for, though. You want to play against these best defenses to see what we got. Yeah, he still can affect the passer. He's not playing as much. You could say percentage-wise in terms of first and second down, but when it's that so-called money down, he's out there. And he gives everyone that he's played fits. He still can move at that same level. It's still Von Miller. He's just, again, not playing as much on those early downs. So, we'll have our hands full. We got a plan, just like they got a plan, and, we'll go shoot our shot.
Yeah, I think we're playing better week in, week out. I think we're competing, especially in the return phases. Last week, obviously, kick return. Got a penalty that we got to eliminate. But other than that, we're staying connected. We're fighting. We're finishing plays. The number one thing I look around across the board, whoever's on the field for us, they're competing hard, and that's the number one goal is compete. Say that one more time. Obviously, a huge spark last week. Very important for us. He's a violent runner. He has good vision, contact balance, ball security, a little bit of everything that you're looking for in a return, especially in the kick return guy. A little bit bigger size-wise and physicality. Those are the things that he adds for us. It's awesome. I mean, you got to look at the guys up front first. Obviously, it's an 11-man game the way we play it, and so to be able to set the blocks up and stay connected and be able to have the vision to hit that. He's full speed. One cut and go, and that's exciting to see. Now we gotta. The explosives are fun. We gotta try to figure out a way to create even more of those. Yeah, I think number one, he's a pretty mentally tough kid. He's had a lot of success. He's failed before. You look back through his college career and things like that. He doesn't normally miss 2 in a row and different things. He can make the adjustments. We talk about being an athlete first. Having that kind of mentality to where you can overcome adversities. Those are the number one things you're talking about a kid like that, to have success early, have a little bit of struggles in the middle, and find it for the right point. And that's where we're at right now, is hitting our stride going forward. And he's a lot of confidence, hitting the ball really well. So he's earned a lot of confidence from the whole team as well. I think it all depends on the personality, right? I think that's people in general. There's a lot of things that go in life happen, good, bad, and indifferent, and how you handle those successes and failures determines how mentally tough you are to move forward. And it gets just as hard sometimes for certain people who mentally, when you have a ton of success, can't sustain it because it actually affects them negatively. So be able to handle the ebbs and flows of a season, ebbs and flows of a career, and stay focused and strong and confident in what you're doing probably is easier said than done. But when you have the right person doing it, it makes it a lot better. I don't think there's a ton. It really isn't. I mean, some of it's better snap, better operation probably more than anything. And then you look at some of them have line at 7 yards versus 8 yards in college, or 7.5. There's a little bit of different variation between different colleges and how they protect and where they place the ball. But from an overall standpoint, not a lot. Actually, probably maybe even a little bit with the ball. That's about it. That's about the biggest difference.
When you look at specifically at that window where he was struggling from an operational standpoint,
Yep.
snap, pull, much did that play into effect, or is it now you just missed the kick?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and some of it's just operationally. We have been pretty good in operation. Early, there was a couple early on when Alex first got back, but since that point, I mean, we've been really consistent, and then it's just about trusting it. And not only that, but he got quick. 2 of the misses, he got quick. He'll be the first to tell you he left early, got quick, expedited it, which just adds an element of not being able to see the ball down as long. You rush into it, you end up, your leg just doesn't quite catch up, and you leave it out and things like that. So just staying confident and confident in his timing and rhythm, that's probably the most important thing. Is he knows when to go, he knows when to leave. He has a really smooth 2-step operation. It looks effortless, not a lot of rush to it. You see a lot of different varying kick styles about approaches and jab, 2-step, 3-step, all those type of things. He's very smooth and rhythmic, and so when he's in rhythm and he leaves on time, everything flows from there, and just got quick, and that's nobody but himself on those. Not really. I mean, we've added something in there, but that could be a strategic advantage. So there's stuff in there, but for the most part, not really.
Imagine or taking the guys that
Yep.
Stood out to you as we're trying to see?
A couple different things. Obviously, athletically, physicality. They're both football players. Like when you look at their instincts to play football and find the football, defensively, special teams, those all work the same. They're heavy-handed individuals. They have the right mentality and makeup as far as going to hunt the football. And so when you look at those type of mindsets combined with their skill sets, you get a good football player. And I don't think it's any surprise to any of us who evaluated those guys coming out that they were going to be important factors for us, both special teams and defense for us.
How did this come about?
Yeah, so there have been talks about it, right? Like I love the idea of doing it. And we've talked with my marketing agent, and there's just one day I remember me and Elisa, my fiance, we were just sitting on the couch, and he calls us and he's like, yo, like, would you guys want to do the Masked Singer? And I'm like, yes, like just sign us up already, please. So yeah, I guess from there it just kind of kept going. You know, he figured out all the details, and here we are. Yeah, it was pretty intense. So when we filmed it, it was at the tail end of OTA. So my first performance, actually, when I performed Lose Control, was I left OTA's practice, showered up really, really fast, sprinted from the locker room, and got back home, picked up Elisa, and then we went straight to filming. So we missed majority of the day, but before all of that, there's a bunch of choreography practices. There's a bunch of, you know, of course, recording. We were able to record like a track so that I can hear it back and figure out what I actually want to do live, because we do sing it live. And so there's recording, choreography. We did a bunch of different rehearsals with the camera so that they can figure out what angles they wanted, and just kind of how to make the entire performance a big deal. So that was pretty cool. And then, yeah, so we filmed. Then, you know, I got the ding dong, keep it on bell. So after that, they're like, okay, like the next group has to come in and film some of their stuff. And then went on a trip to Hawaii with the fiance, cleared my mind, came back ready to go. And so we ended up in the quarterfinals and did our thing there.
Knowing how much of that experience meant to you, how hard was
It was really hard. Like I remember, so I'm a perfectionist. So even during OTAs, when we figured out that I was going to be doing this, and then I get the song choices that I'm going to do, I'm in the hot tub humming a song, and I remember it was actually Kobie Turner, and I just texted him about this yesterday. But I'm over there humming a song. I think I was humming Miss Independent, because that was my week 2 song. So I'm humming it, and I'm like humming through that song like 3-4 times. Of course, like, yo, you've been singing that song a lot today. And it was like, I rock with that song though. Like, that's from way back, but is that like, it's just on your mind or something? And I was like, yeah, dude, like it's just stuck in my head right now. The whole time I had to go back later and actually perform it. So, but it was really hard to keep that from the guys. But once all the recording was done, it was like, okay, like let's get back to ball. And so I was able to kind of focus on ball. And then when the show started coming out, I got really excited for it. So.
What was the thing that you went through this process and maybe didn't realize that after going through it, you realized was maybe different than your
Yeah, I think just the personal growth that I feel like I had through this process, like to just be up under a mask is a really cool experience. I never thought of the power in that, but I was just completely myself. Like I was doing all these funky dance moves, like I could barely move. The thing is huge. And every single step I took like double HP. Like I could not breathe to save my life. But to just be up under that mask, to be able to be the silly, goofy version of myself that I've always had, I always have been, was something that I wasn't really expecting. But there's just so many different experiences, so many behind the scenes things, so many funny moments. There was one time we were at rehearsal and I fell asleep on the stage sitting, because they had to like bring up a stool because my costume's big, and so I'm sitting on the stool, but my shoulders are like this because that's where the arm loops are when I sit. And so I'm leaning my head up against the top of the thing, and and they're like, Kobie, they're in my in-ears. They're like, Kobie, or they don't say Kobie, sorry. They say Goo. They're like, Goo, like we got to run this rehearsal. And I was knocked out on the chair. So they're like, Goo, come on. And so finally, my vocal coach, Ali, had to come up on the stage, or one of the stagehands had to come and get me and wake me up and be like, okay, like we're rehearsing again now, like wake up. But there's just so many moments, and being able to tap into the real side of myself, right? I am I always fight to be the authentic version of myself at all times. But being able to be in that space where nobody knows who you are and to just be up under that mask is like, I'm gonna just be me and I'm gonna have the most fun that I can have. So that was on. It's not like on the football field, it's a really cool release. And at the same time, a lot of times there are expectations of how do you handle yourself on the football field and so even just within my personality, I've kind of pushed those limits, whether it be like last year, 80 used to always pick on me about doing crazy dance moves and walkthrough, but when it was time to go, like I was completely locked in. But there are a lot of expectations of you, but I think it's a similar thing of you can just be yourself, and then when it's time to go, do your thing. Like as long as you're getting the job done, as long as you're completely locked in and the work shows that this matters to me, you know, you can be yourself. Yeah, I was frustrated. So obviously being in this building and being a Ram, like I'm an ultimate competitor. So everything I'm doing is like, man, like I should have done this, or I'm dissecting my performances and I'm like, man, like when I had to get up out under the stage, like I was feeling a little breathy or whatnot. But honestly, it was just such a great experience. And so for a little while, like I definitely had to have a couple debrief talks with my fiance. I thought that I would have made it farther, and I know that I could have. But you know, it was just such a great experience. Like when you truly just look back on what this has given me the ability to do, and regardless if I fully win or if I just am able to put out some music, if I'm able to go and show people that you really can do both, right? There's so many positives and so many great things that have come for that. So definitely had a little bit of frustration and a little bit of competitiveness, but at the end of the day, it was just such a great experience, and it brought healing to myself, you know, first and foremost. So I think you kind of have a say, but they pitch it to you essentially. So they were like, boom, you're gonna be this like cute, slimy, like kind of like, oh, we're scared of him, but also like, oh, look at his bow tie, he's so cute, type of guy. So, and then all of the costumes are based on something from your life. So for me, I did Slime Time last year with Nickelodeon. And so they took that and ran with it. And we're like, okay, we're gonna make a big costume, goo. And then also the fact that I play ball, you know, allows me to be able to carry a big costume and to be able to perform in it as well. So, but I loved being Goo. Like Goo is something that will forever be right there, man. Yeah. Yeah, I think it meant a lot. It was really validating that, you know, this is something that I can do, and that I hope is validating for everybody, right? For anybody who's trying to do both, that if you just put in the sweat equity, like you really go after it, that you can do both. And it was kind of a full circle moment, because my whole life it's been choose football or choose music. You know, I'm taking extra course classes, but people want me to take extra weightlifting classes so I can get better at football, because I say that I want to go to school for football. And yes, I do want to go to school for football, but to be able to balance that, I'm just going to go in and put in the extra work in the mornings and go get some extra lifts in the morning so that I can still go and fulfill this other passion. And so I think for it to kind of come full circle like that, and to be able to get some of the feedback was really, really cool. And you know, I'm excited for kind of how things go from here, whether it be, you know, through putting out some more music, but to just truly be able to live in that authentic part of myself, and to be able to bring the totality of who I am to the surface was a truly special moment. Oh, they were shocked. They're really shocked. Everybody's been like dapping me up, and they're like, no way. Like I see all of the comments on my posts from last night, and they're like, no way. Like this is so crazy. They're like, how have you kept this from us? But yeah, it's been really cool. So I got these actually recently. Bobby actually got them for me. He has a guy who's making some custom thigh boards, and so I think for 2 or 3 weeks, I've had these on. I'm gonna try to get one that has like a treble clef and a bass clef, but it's an interesting way to show a piece of, you know, all of our personality. And for me, like, this is what I want to wear. I want to wear music on me.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously super special. I mean, it's cool. It's just a testament to the work. I mean, I never want to disregard an accolade because, those are always cool. But, we have a bigger goal in mind, and, I have bigger goals in mind. We got to get to the playoffs, and, I think that's the main focus of the team. But, yeah, I mean, obviously really cool to, have something like that, under the belt. Going into rookie year, you got a lot of goals and aspirations. So to have something like that, yeah, I definitely take pride in it. But, we're still chasing something bigger.
Sean had said yesterday that guys that hadn't seen John Callahan was bigger than making the
Right.
Do you see that? Do you expect that? What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, you see it. You see it on tape. There's no line in there. I mean, you see a big D lineman compared to him. Like, okay, he's definitely got some size out there. Then you see guys chasing him down. You realize the size and speed is there. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a test. But no better way to challenge yourself than go out there and play a guy like that. A 10-2 team. I mean, we got aspirations to be a playoff team. Well, here's our chance to prove it. And I like what we got going.
Size and speed. Take us through that move, the action you made on that. Just a
Right.
that
Right, yeah. I had to take it back to the old Pop Warner days playing running back. I just first time I had the ball in the hand in a long time, but yeah, it's kind of instinct, just running. And saw guys, blocking for me. I was like, I'm getting close. By the time I got to about that 15, I was like, now we got to finish this off, and as I'm jogging back to the sideline, I see McVay's face. I'm like, it ain't looking too good, but I could just tell the vibe. I was like, yeah, this might not be happening. I'm out of breath. I'm sitting on the bench like, shit, I got to go back out for whatever it was, field goal block. I'm like, but no, it was a cool moment. It's cool to have that memory. I mean, regardless if it stood or not, and cool. It's cool. It's pretty special. Yeah, you guys, keep spreading the word for me. I need whatever I can get out there. But yeah, we'll leave that. Knowing who's on the other side of the ball, I'll stick to defense.
What was your reaction when you heard Kobie Turner was due seeing on this show?
Yeah, it really caught me by surprise. They sent it in the group chat last night. I saw that, and then it's all over social media. But knowing Kobie, knowing who he is, that's pretty cool. I know it's pretty special to him and his family. Kind of how his upbringing was with music and how much he appreciates that. So it was a cool moment. I'm glad to see that he had that opportunity to do something special like that. And that's definitely not my forte to be out there singing in front of people. But that's something he's really good at and that he's into. So it's really cool. Yeah, and I think snaps play the biggest part of that. Just getting more exposure out in the field. Getting seeing different looks, and then on top of that, it's the practice. It's being in the film room. Is just understanding your role within the defense and what everyone's trying to do, not just yourself. And that helps you find your play opportunities. That helps you find different ways you can impact the game. Maybe even if it's not your play out, but making a play out for somebody else on the other side of the line, whatever it may be. So yeah, I think it's just all encompassing of just understanding your role in general and just embracing that because, not every play is going to be designed for you to make a play, but, it's going to be designed for another guy to make a play. You just got to embrace your role and make the most of it.
How does it help you and the other guys together to be playing in the same room, coming up together, learning together?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the competitiveness, just, not wanting to be better, but, just wanting to, compete. And, when we talk about the sacks, TFLs, whatever it is, just competing to be the best guy on the field and while also playing, 11 as one. And, it's cool to have all of us in the same room or, same room meeting together a lot, always competing, always talking out there and then, translate to practice. You practice harder, you take more advantage of the reps that you get because you know what you're competing for. And, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is just the competitiveness that we have, but also the joy of playing together. It makes the biggest difference. Yeah, it's a total of, watching the film, studying, I think the biggest thing is taking care of my body, making sure I'm ready to go for Sunday because there's a lot of wear and tear in this game, I mean, especially, your rookie year, you go through that whole process, the pre-draft process of, Senior Bowl, Combine, Pro Days, go straight into OTAs and training camp. So it's been a long grind from January to now. So I think the biggest thing for me is, I spend a lot of time post-practice and pre-practice taking care of my body. And, then on top of that, watching the film, getting on top of my studies because the game moves fast. So, any little key you can take, it may only be 5 plays a game that you see from film, but, that can be 5 plays that you can make on the field. So, yeah, it takes a lot, but that's what I love to do. So, there's nothing I'm not willing to do to take it to the next step. Oh yeah, I was telling Coach Caniglia the only reason I got it is just to piss Jared off. So that's all I was looking for. But I'm glad we're just step by step competing. And that was probably the coolest thing coming in to the Rams with Jared. I was like, you know what, this is going to be the best thing for our careers because I know it's going to take our work ethic to a next level because we're going to compete because I'm not going to make it easy on him, and I know he's not going to make it easy on me going forward. So yeah, I'm just excited to go forward. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.